Welcome to the Property Lane, where it's everything real estate. Once again, my name is Catherine Nanteza and I'm your host tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we look at something that has been coming up. We've been hearing about the malls lately. Everywhere you turn, there is a mall. In every direction, in every place, you see a mall. Today we want to understand, what are malls? What's the difference between a mall and an arcade? What makes a mall different? What makes a mall a mall? And what do you need to know when building or constructing a mall? Walk with me as we meet someone who will be taking us through the technicalities of running a mall, of what a mall is, and what you need to know to get customers, to get tenants, and to retain the tenants that you have. Stay tuned. Yes, our dear viewers, as I was telling you tonight, we have a very interesting topic. And dear viewers, welcome with me someone you've already met, someone you already see on this show. And for our Property Lane fans, welcome with me once again, Mr. Moses Lutalo. Moses, how are you?
Fine, how are you, Kathy?
How is Metroplex?
Well, as you can see, we're not the same we used to be. A lot has happened over the few months we've been here managing the mall.
We've been chatting with my viewers and we wanted to know about malls. You know, these days everyone constructing any 2-3 shops calls it a mall. What's a mall and what makes it different from an arcade?
Yes,
or from a tall building?
Thank you very much, Kathy.
Yeah.
To viewers on Property Lane, always a pleasure to be with you. Right to your point, when you talk about a shopping center, I think our viewers need to know that a shopping center, simply put, is a conglomerate of multiple shops designed with the intention to be managed as one unit under one roof. Okay. That's the definition of a shopping mall. You have multiple shops designed intentionally under one roof and managed as one unit.
When you say intentionally, what do you mean?
So being intentional in retail means when you conceive a concept of a shopping center, you have done your research on the demographic, you know what shop needs to be where, what size of shop, what size of supermarket, what size of the shopping center, and what amenities you need to be in that center. So now that qualifies to be a shopping center. Unlike the arcade, which is a commercial building with multiple shops, there's no intentionality. Like anyone can walk in and get a shop. Yes, there's no convenience planned for, there's not adequate parking. I'm sure most of the arcades you have in Uganda are downtown, and you can imagine. I would say there's no intentionality in designing it for a mall. So that's the difference.
So you're saying with a mall, it's from design that, you know, this shop must be this many square meters and this one can be this tiny. Like, and so the malls I see, you've seen some of the, like Voice Mall, like what mall? These malls, are they malls because of size or because they say they are malls?
Well, in markets like ours, it's very difficult to, you know, start differentiating between what a mall is and what it's not. Okay. But what we know is that arcades are not shopping centers. Okay. So we need to leave the arcades out of this picture. But when you go into a shopping center, now you start looking at what was it designed for? You know, how is it, you know, accessible? Is there enough parking? Where is it located? Okay. Which side of the road is it when you're going back home? You know, what demographic is it? Oh, side
of the road. That matters.
So much. That matters so much.
Which side, by the way?
Well, when you're driving left on your way home.
Oh, okay. Because, on the way home.
Yeah, so the intention is to have a shopping center left on your way home. Okay. Because remember, the science around shopping centers are the consumers. So they have to be able to access it in a more convenient way.
There's a science.
There's a science behind that. So you don't just come and say, I'm putting a mall here because I have a 2-acre site. No, it has to be thought out and say, okay, this is the location. Is it the right location? Right. Is it visible? Right. Is it adequate?
Visible, you know, location, adequate.
Is it adequate? And then what is the captive market? Who are you attracting to the mall? Because every mall is different. I mean, you find malls in Bugolobi will be different from a mall in Nalia.
What makes them different?
Because your target market is different. You find if you're in Muyenga, for example, this is the old, you know, people who are in their 50s, you know, all that. While in Nalia, you're targeting the younger people with families. So when you put a baby shop in Muyenga, chances of it surviving are lower compared when you put it in Nalia. So that's the science. You're literally trying to, you know, inform you know, the community into the mall. So you need to look for where the need is. What is it they're trying to address as a shopping center? And once you answer that question, then you can go ahead and start building it.
Okay.
The challenge you have is that people first build it, then they start looking for people who should come in.
I think
It should
that's
be
what's
the other way around.
happening
Yes.
right now. We've seen some malls not really performing. I won't name them. What happens?
I mean, a couple of things, but I think one of the biggest challenges we've seen in this market is people don't do their research. You want to build a shopping center, you do it without technical people involved, and you put it up, then you start looking for tenants.
Okay.
The process should be you do your market research, you do the demographic study, then size up what size of mall do you want, what square meters, what sort of tenant mix do you need there. Then you go to the market with that, then you build it around, so that you avoid putting circles in square pegs, because they can never fit.
What are like the key things that should inform one who wants to construct a mall? Like the key things they need to look at when doing that research, that feasibility study, that will qualify one to say, now I can set a mall here or not.
Yeah, thank you,
Here.
Kathy, for that. I think the most important thing is the site selection.
Okay.
Yes, so you have to have the right site.
Okay.
Like we talked about location, left on your way home. Is it a big site? Because remember, your consumers don't want to go upstairs to shop.
Okay.
The more convenient, the better. So you have to select the right site. Once you have the site, then you have to get professionals to do the right market study, demographic study. Once the market study is done, then now you start doing the feasibility study.
Okay.
Now you know that there's a need for maybe a 20,000 square meter mall in this location. You know, in that location, which shops are lacking in that mall? Is it clothing? Is it F&B? And you also want to know what will that mall be known for. The malls that are known to be fashion malls, the
Okay.
malls that are known to be entertainment malls. So whichever node you're in, you need to know this mall will be an entertainment mall. So meaning you have a lot more restaurants, bars, you know, F&B as compared to the
What's
other
F&B?
food. In this case, it's restaurants.
Okay, restaurants.
Yeah, F&B.
You said something that was that caught my attention. Themes. You're saying every mall must have a theme.
Absolutely.
It doesn't look like that. When I look at most of the malls around, they don't look like they have themes.
Now that takes us back to the question: are all malls in Kampala malls really?
Yeah.
Because having, you know, 100 shops in one big building does not qualify to be a shopping center. It has to be designed, because in malls, it's what we call tenant mix. So once you start placing those tenants, they should be able to trade off each other.
Okay.
And now when you walk in and say, okay, I have a phone shop here, I have a accessories shop here, I have agent banking here, I have a supermarket here.
Okay.
So when you walk in, if you know, you'll know this is a shopping center, this is an arcade, or this is, and also malls have different categories.
Okay.
The neighborhood malls, the regional malls, the super regional malls. Yeah, so
By regional, what do you mean? Like,
it serves a bigger community.
Oh,
so you
okay.
find a mall that is anything above 30,000 square meters should be.
what's the biggest mall we have in Kampala?
Well, that's a
Currently.
good one. That's a good one. I think
Because when you talk of
yeah,
meters,
yes,
it's
square
good to
meter.
know.
I mean, Freedom City is a big mall, for
It's
example.
Freedom City. It
Yeah,
doesn't
but
look
does
that
it?
big.
I mean, yeah, it's quite sizable. So that sort of thing, which is massive, expansive, that would qualify to be, a regional mall. But
when you talk of size, like people don't want to go up.
yes,
Does that inform the design of
absolutely,
most malls?
absolutely.
Like how many floors can one go? And if you're to go beyond that, what do you do to ensure shoppers can actually access the rest of the
Well,
shops?
of course, if you look at other developed markets like in South Africa, even in Dubai, you can have a multiple layered mall. 4 floors, 5 floors, many floors. But in Uganda, we've seen that anything beyond ground plus 1 does not work, because our people want convenience. They
Yeah.
want to move into their car.
They
with
want
a
to
trolley.
stand up here and see the shops.
Yeah, they don't want
down
to take
there.
stairs up. So anyone who's building a mall beyond ground, first floor, you're going to struggle to let the second floor and other floors. So that's why you see some people mixing it with other users. You have offices or apartments for those other floors. So you do
Okay.
mixed use development.
Yes, this is very interesting, Moses. Dear viewers, we are going to take a very quick, short break. And when we come back, we will be learning on how do we get tenants to a mall. The people who have built malls and are wondering, how do we attract tenants? And then how do we retain them? The other thing we want to look at is that traffic in a mall. I know that's very, very key. Also, given the fact that most malls are not located in very busy areas, how do we attract traffic to a mall? Stay tuned, don't move, and see you shortly. Welcome back from that very brief break. Dear viewers, we continue the conversation on malls and understanding malls. Before we took a break, we wanted to know, Moses, how do we get tenants to malls? Because there seem to be too many shops or very big space to be filled. How does one manage that?
Yes, thank you, Catherine.
Yeah.
I think when you think about tenants of the mall, it's a job that starts at design. Because when you're designing a mall, you have a target market. Or that market needs a service, which are the shops and what they're going to buy. So from that stage, when you do what they call a tenant mix, you're figuring it out which tenants do you need in that mall, can they afford to be there, and why they should be there. So the journey starts when you're designing the mall.
Okay.
And up to the point of construction, because you will understand with shopping centers, by the time the building is up, ordinarily at least 60% of it should be booked. So you should have gone to the market. Yes.
Did you say booked?
Yes, booked,
like
signed up.
Before construction?
Before construction. Because think about it, a lot of these developments are funded out of debt. So when you go to the bank, they'll ask you, of your proposed gross built-up area, how much of it is pre-let. So the journey to get tenants into the mall starts way back at design stage. So by the time you go to start building it, I'll have a supermarket here, they need 1,000 square meters, I'll have a salon here, I'll have a pharmacy here. So you already know. So, but when it's already built...
As in, you don't just know that I'll have a salon, you know which salon.
Which salon, exactly.
And can this salon guy design their shop to their taste before construction?
Well,
can they tell you?
Yeah, typically, for example, you go to a supermarket and they will tell you, I need 2,000 square meters.
Okay.
So you know you'll not be building a supermarket of 4,000 square meters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so already you know it. And that's why you see when Nakumatt exited this market, they had to build back slabs in some of the malls to reduce the space, because it used to be on multiple levels.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so when you're designing a mall, you already know which tenant. So the engagement with the tenant starts early. But when the building is already built and you want to get in tenants, again, you're going to speak to the people who feed into. So if it's a neighborhood mall, like where we're seated today, then you want services that are going to serve the neighborhood. And if it's a mall that works over the weekend, so you want to have entertainment, you want to have play areas for children, you want to have cinema, you want to have
disco.
Everything, bars, things that work with people, lounges, so that's the journey. But it becomes much easier if the mall is trading, and trading means it is fully tenanted, there's traffic coming in, because remember, with a mall you're dealing with the tenant, the landlord, and the consumers, the visitors into the mall. So as a property manager like ourselves, you have to make sure you come up with whether they're campaigns, whether it's the right tenant mix to bring in more people. Because when you bring in more people, then it means the traders, the shoppers are doing well. I mean, the shop owners, the traders are doing well. So there's no clear-cut answer on how to get in the tenants, but you just have to be intentional, from design to management to even,
I guess you've actually answered it. And now I'm wondering, how do you retain? Like what happened when Oasis Mall left? What was it?
Nakumatt, yes.
When Nakumatt left, that leaves a very big gap to be filled.
Yes.
So how do you retain tenants, and what makes them leave?
Okay, as you can imagine, retail by its nature is, multiple things. Is the economy doing well? Can people afford disposable income? Purchasing power parity, all these play into that. But typically what you do, or what we've tried to do, is you want to advise the investors. This is your shopping mall. You need to tell them upfront, this is the amount of rent you need to get. And this amount of rent, tenants can afford it. Because what happens is you can tell the landlord you can get $60, they come to market can only get 10.
Yeah.
So there's a mismatch. So they'll always be pushing you to get $60. When you, the manager, you know they can only afford $10. So coming up with that optimal design which delivers a rental which keeps the tenants in, but also trading to be able to successful becomes very important. And that's why expert knowledge comes in, because not everyone is going to give you that information. But keeping them in is again managing the mall well.
Okay.
You have to make sure, if you talked about campaigns, are they bringing the traffic? If you talked about, a mall being clean, is it working? If you talked about it being secure, is it secure? Because these are the things that are bringing.
Like, are you delivering on your promise?
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And then what makes tenants leave is again a combination of very many things. Maybe they have the wrong product, they're in the wrong location, competition is too high. So you as a manager, you have to continuously look out for, okay, if this tenant
Are
was
you
to
as a manager also managing competition?
Absolutely. You have to.
Oh, wow.
You have to know which services you're offering in your mall compared to other malls. Is there anything unique about your mall?
Okay.
So as a manager who is expert in that sense,
So you
have
can
to
say, I
look out
have
for,
too many salons,
Yes.
don't bring in more salons.
Exactly.
Okay.
You have to put a cap at that, which doesn't happen in arcades, ideally.
Okay. Okay. And the consumer,
Yes.
what do you do to attract traffic to your mall?
Yeah,
And
good question.
you also talked about amenities
Yes,
while
amenities.
answering that. Yeah.
Of course, that is any property manager's nightmare, especially for retail center manager. Because at any one moment, that's why you find us counting traffic. Our performance is measured on how many people have come into
How
the
do
mall.
you count?
We have traffic counts. When people are walking
okay.
in, you're being counted. So at every end of day, we need to know this mall brought in 2,000 people today. So a month, these are how many people. When you run a campaign, you want to be able to know, okay, how many people came. Because remember, your tenants are supposed to trade off that. So the only way you do that is to make sure you keep the mall neat. You have to come up with a very robust marketing campaign and positioning of the mall so that you continuously feed it with people, or what you call traffic. And those people just come in. They have to come in and spend time shopping, and they have to have the right spend. Because
And how do
you've
you
been
get
at some
them to
malls
spend?
because the right product.
Yeah.
So the mall has to have the right shops with the right products in the shops, and then you have to create a conducive environment for the people to come in, the shoppers. And while they're there, they need to stay longer. That's why when you come into a mall, you're going to cut your hair, you have a restaurant, you have to have a meal, then you go and watch a movie. So the longer you spend in the mall, the
Then
psychology.
there's gaming for kids.
Absolutely.
You know?
So the psychology around that is the longer someone spends in the mall, if they feel happy, the better. And if you have services that even bring the family in, it means they're going to spend more money. So as a mall manager, you have to keep around thinking, okay, how creative do you get to bring in more people? What is lacking? Which shops are not doing well, so to get them out and bring in the right shops? Because also walking into a mall and doesn't have the right product mix, shoppers get discouraged.
That's
so
true.
that is the ethos of managing the shopping center. So a lot of the tenants will go or stay if the management is not doing a good job.
I've walked into some malls and they are like ice cream, like the cone guys, next to a restaurant that is selling more expensive ice cream, next to a supermarket that has, variety.
Yes.
Is that intentional?
Yes and no. For some malls, it's intentional. Others, it's out of desperation.
Okay.
And so there's someone who has to offer this, let me just put them in. But ordinarily, you don't want to locate services that compete with each other. They should be able to complement, but not compete with each other.
Okay.
That becomes very important.
Maybe the corn guy is going to attract people who feel like this mall is not so expensive like we thought.
Yes. So again, there's a science to that, but depending on the nature of the mall and the location of the space, because you've seen malls where we have what we call kiosks or incubation, you have like a kiosk area.
Yeah.
They're trying to nurture those tenants into going to the mainstream shops. But if you're starting out with a cosmetic shop, you might not afford a shop of 2 million shillings. So we keep you in the kiosk area.
Before we even run out of time, Moses, do malls make money? Well, like, why should I build a mall and not an arcade or these line shops? Why a mall? Do they make money? They seem like a lot of headache.
The straightforward answer to that is shopping centers have a lot more opportunities to generate better revenue, like a commercial building or a residential property. And the reason is simple. We have what we call turnover rentals.
Okay.
So if you manage the mall well and the tenants are doing well, you earn more rental. because it's a percentage of their trade.
Okay.
Then you have what we call...
Wait, what do you mean? Like,
So some
you,
agreements,
the
yeah,
landlord earns from their...
Yes, so I'll tell you your tenancy agreement, you're paying me $10 a square meter or 10% turnover, whichever is greater.
Okay.
So if I manage the mall very well and you trade so much, your rent will be much higher because I'm using 10% on your sales to pay me rent. But that's one. There's also what we call non-GLA revenue. We have activations, we have advertising, all these generate revenue. You don't find them in residential properties or commercial properties. So in a nutshell, retail, much as it's more risky, and of course risk tends toward better returns. So when you go into a proper shopping center, you earn better return, better yields.
When you say what did you call it?
Non-GLA revenue.
Non-GL, what's that?
Okay, spaces that we measure, those are net lettable area, gross lettable areas.
Okay.
But if I put a billboard on top of a mall and I'm earning revenue, that's not measured area. If I bring in an activation from...
So the landlord charges for
Yes.
the bill? Wow.
Even the activations, the people who
I
come and
didn't
see
know.
I have a product, they all pay the landlord. So that is over and above the rentable space as it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the difference? What makes like a mall retail space and then office? There's that confusion between commercial and retail. How do we differentiate?
I think for the benefit of our viewers out there, when you talk about commercial, professionally, we talk about office buildings.
Okay.
When you talk about retail, we talk about shopping centers, arcades, and everything in between. That's a very clear distinction. So you find some office buildings have a coffee shop, a restaurant. It doesn't make them a retail building. It's purely commercial.
Okay.
But they're also mixed-use developments. You have a
Okay.
bit of retail and a bit of offices. So those we call them mixed-use development.
Now, I wanted to ask, if I was to walk into a mall, you talked of amenities.
Yes.
How do I benefit as a consumer? And then from a landlord point of view, what are the amenities you're thinking of?
Okay.
Because when I talk of amenities in residential, I know.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm wondering in retail, what are amenities?
I think retail, just
what amenities are we
to
looking
get back to that question, remember for retail, we're selling convenience.
Yes.
So convenience, depending on the
So
location,
it's like luxury.
yeah, means parking, adequate parking,
Residential.
because people need to park conveniently.
Okay.
We're talking security. We're talking, vertical and horizontal, access, whether they are escalators or lifts. It has to be, and then visibility. I want to walk into a shopping center and I see everything. But most importantly, it has to be clean. Every
Clean.
time clean. So because you want to come with your family to a place where the convenience areas are clean, they're well maintained, all that
Oh, okay.
attributes to having a successful shopping center.
So you said visibility,
Which
cleanness.
is parking, convenience, which is
convenience.
Parking. Then the design itself has to be able to speak to retail. I want to walk into a mall and I'm able to see all the shops, whether it's horizontal or vertical circulation. Then it has to be secure. I don't want to be robbed. Then it has to be clean. Then it must have the right product.
I think even in shopping, we are looking at convenience.
Yes.
Like I should be able to use my card, use Momo,
Yes.
use whatever I need for
Absolutely.
all that.
Yeah.
Is there anything we've left out on malls as we come to the end?
I think it's that just to understand the difference between managing a commercial building and managing a shopping center.
Okay.
So when I'm dealing with a commercial building, I'm dealing with the landlord and the tenant. When I'm dealing with a shopping center, I'm managing the tenant, the landlord, and the consumer out there. I have to manage the community into the mall.
Even the community.
Into the mall, yes. I have
Okay.
to make as many people come into the mall, and while they're able to spend so that the shops can make money to pay the landlord rent. So it's a whole chain reaction.
Yeah, as we come to the end, Moses, I've seen benches, I've seen like gaming. In most malls, the gamings are outside, not like in a shop.
Yes.
And I've seen play areas. Is that also by design? Like what? Why?
I think for gaming activities, they should be inside the mall because you want to bring people into the mall,
Okay.
not outside.
Okay.
So for people who put them outside, maybe they have the reasons, but from...
I mean, like they're outside the shops, but in the mall.
In the mall, yes.
Yeah, why not in the shops?
No, because they have to be visible. And also
Oh, okay.
remember, those sort of products don't pay a lot of rent.
Ah.
Yeah, so you don't want them in a very prime shop when they can't afford it.
Oh,
So you
okay.
normally give them spaces
Yet
which are
they
affordable.
attract traffic.
Yes, they might not be paying rent, right? But they attract traffic into the mall.
And then the benches, these days I'm seeing like sitting areas and all
Yeah,
that.
because remember, we're selling convenience, we're selling lifestyle, we're selling, when people come into a mall and there's Wi-Fi, for example, we provide free Wi-Fi. So you find
even
people
here at
sitting
Metro.
yes, you provide
Wow, that's
Wi-Fi to
good.
people so someone can easily be able to log in and do something. While they're there, they'll think about ice cream,
They'll
a
get
meal.
hungry.
Yeah, and it's a psychology
Okay.
of, managing malls.
And the children's play centers and all that.
As well, because again, when parents are cutting their hair or they're shopping, kids have to be somewhere. So that's why you have the kids' play areas. Not that they make a lot of money for the mall, but they're good to have. They're complementary service to what you're offering in the mall.
Wow. Dear viewers, we are coming to the end of this very interesting topic today. We will continue looking at malls from different angles. For now, from Moses, is there anything you want to say as we come to the end?
Not really, just to thank you for hosting me again and to our viewers out there.
Yes. Greetings, our viewers. We are right here at Metroplex Mall in Nalia. When you're shopping around, please pass by. There is so much to see. And there is also space for those who want to come and set their shop in Metroplex. See you next time.